Welcome to OTech Talks podcast, and here is your host Kashif Manzoor, ready with the fourth session. Today we will be talking on database tier of Oracle E-Business Suite, and our outline for today is what is a role of database tier in E-Business Suite, what are the schemas being used in database, like app schema, product schemas, and any custom schema. What is link between app schema and base product schemas? What is the tablespace model that is used as a standard with Oracle E-Business Suite Release 12? And benefits of OATM, which we used to call as Oracle Application Tablespace Model versus old tablespace model, which was being used before Release 11i. What is the role of, let's start with the first point, what is the role of database tier in Oracle E-Business Suite? Basically, the beta database tier comprises the Oracle database server that stores and manages all the data of Oracle E-Business Suite. It also contains various types of file in which the tables, indexes, and other database objects for system physically reside, as well as the database executables. Oracle E-Business Suite online help information is also stored in this database. The eBusiness Suite database server communicates with the services and servers on the application tier. So that's the way it communicates between apps tier and DB tier, which facilitates the communication between the database and the user's client, which is our middle tier. There is no direct communication or link between the database and the user or clients and the end user which we are using it. Number two, our point today is schema of databases in Oracle E-Business Suite. So let's first understand what is schema. A schema is a collection of logical structure of data or schema objects. A schema is owned by a database user and has the same name as that user. So each user owns a single schema. We can also name a schema as a container of objects. In Oracle E-Business Suite, generally, product code objects are stored in the app schema, and product data objects are stored in the relevant base product schema. So there are two apps and product schema. Any code objects will be in app schema, data objects will be in base product schemas. Let's understand what type of schemas are available in Oracle E-Business Suite. The app schema, base product schemas, custom schemas. The app schema has access to the complete Oracle E-Business Suite data model. It is analogous to the system schema, which has access to entire database. Oracle E-Business Suite responsibilities connect to an app schema, and the environment variable fnd_name is set to name of the app schema which we are using it. The apps schema owns all the code objects for the Oracle E-Business Suite and has access to all data objects. There is one app schema for every product installation group. The following code objects are installed in the app schema, for example, packages, procedures, functions, triggers, views, materialized views, Java classes, queues. So all these are part of app schema. Base product schemas, all data objects for a product are owned by a specific schema for that product, known as the base product schema. And the objects which are part of base product schemas are tables, sequences, indexes, constraints, queues. Apart from these two standard schemas, there can be another custom schema, where sometime we require to create custom schema that has limited or read-only access to e-business with data. This custom schema we usually create for any customization, for example, to meet our project requirement. And usually it is recommended to create custom schema in that case so that everything with respect to that custom requirement will remain in this newly created custom schema. Now let's understand what is the link between apps schema and base product schemas. The base product schemas also contain grants from various tables and sequences to the apps schema. as well as synonyms from the APPS schema to the same objects. So that's how the link is built. The next, our point 4 is what is the tablespace model that is used as standard with Oracle E-Business Suite Release 12. Oracle E-Business Suite uses Oracle Application Tablespace Model, some we used to call as OATM model. And it's a similar to traditional model in retaining the system undo and temporary table spaces. The key difference is that Oracle E-Business Suite products in an OTM environment share a smaller number of table spaces rather than having their own dedicated table spaces. Oracle EBS Suite schema objects are allocated to the shared table spaces based on the two main factors: the type of data they contain and I/O characteristics each, such as size, lifespan, access methods, and locking granularity. So these are the characteristics which contain for the data. For example, tables that contain C data are allocated to different table space from the tables that contain traditional data. In addition to that, while most indexes are held in the some table spaces as the base tables, indexes on transaction tables are held in a single table spaces dedicated to such indexes. The Oracle E-Business Suite tablespace model, formerly called the Oracle Application Tablespace Model or OATM, these are all similar names, uses 12 consolidated table spaces, including 3 system table spaces, temporary, system, and undo segments, and provides support for locally managed table spaces. OATM was introduced in release 11i, 11.10 and 11.10. In prior 11i releases of Oracle E-Business Suite, each product was allocated 2 table spaces, one for data and one for indexes. For example, GLD for general ledger base tables and GLX for indexes relation to the general ledger product. So these two types of table spaces for one base product. So in this way, we can find out that more than 300 odd table spaces were there in architecture, and apart from that, we need to system, temp, and rollback table spaces. So there were a lot of maintenance required on prior to release 11i. If we want to migrate, and if you're still having 11i for prior to 10, then what we can do, Oracle has provided a migration utility to move to OATM. And that utility is a menu-based URL program, which we called as Tablespace Migration Utility TMU, and which can be find out after applying the patch number 3381489. This TMU is a Perl-based interactive utility that helps in migrating the Oracle application schemas to implement the OATM, and a series of sizing estimates reports that enables conversion of Oracle E-Business Suite application schemas either in a single comprehensive migration or a phased schema by schema migration. In general, Oracle recommends performing a single comprehensive migration. However, this requires a sufficient amount of downtime and disk space. Oracle does not support partial migration of table spaces. We must still migrate all schemas when performing a phased schema by schema migration. With OATM, each database object is mapped to a table space based on its input and output characteristics, which include object size, lifespan, access methods, and locking granularity. This model allows for easier maintenance and reduced space usage for Oracle E-Business Suite. So that's now which we are using as a new model in OATM. Is OATM mandatory? Now the next question comes in our mind. No, it's optional. But Oracle recommends that we use OATM. It's more efficient and easier to manage. We can use OATM tablespace migration utility to migrate to the new model. Can we use OATM with eBusiness Suite 12.2? The OATM tablespace migration utility cannot be used after we enable online patching in eBusiness Suite 12.2. If we wish to migrate to OATM, we must do before we enable online patching. And if we do not migrate to OATM, we must continue to manage our tablespace separately after enabling online patching. There are a number of references I will put in the show notes. You can find more information on that. Our number 5 point is benefits of OATM versus old model. The number one benefit which I see it simplifies maintenance and recovery by using very few table spaces compared to older model. Uses locally managed table spaces whose choice of extent management types are to allocate or uniform allows more precise control over unused space, and hence it can help reduce fragmentation. Takes advantages of automatic segment space management, eliminating the need for manual space management tasks. Increases block packing compared to the older model, reducing the overall number of buffer gets and thereby improving runtime performance. Makes best use of the restricted number of raw devices available in Oracle Real Application Clusters RAC environment and other environments, whereas every tablespace requires its own new raw device. Maximize usefulness of wide disk strip configuration. With this, we are done with the database tier as a part of Oracle EBS.